guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down.
Write them down. It's like a personal contract with ourselves.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
It's a Write That Down Wednesday, the OG edition here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd, the only show in America that has the grapefruits enough, the watermelons enough, the stones, the cojones to put statistics next to our predictions, gentlemen. So we'll get to the accountability session here shortly, but how do we feel? I feel like the Twins have kind of taken up a lot of real estate in our predictions on this show. I know they won last night. They put 10 runs up on the board, but I'm almost in like boycott the Twins mode with these predictions for now. Like, I don't know if they've earned the right to get my prediction love. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going back.
You looking to bury him?
I'm not. Well, I mean, there's just a lot of there's a lot of things that can take place now that I'm excited about, both good and bad, because that's sports dad. So I am far from boycotting them, although I very much do doubt them. Although now that the sausage is back, I mean, it changes everything.
Yes, we brought the rally sausage back.
Oh, is this the original one? Still around, Declan?
Stay tuned for the Score North Twins show. I have a little bit of insight on that.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Little
teasing.
tease.
You're teasing me.
Little
You're
tease.
teasing me. You don't know me well enough to tease me.
Look at me.
I think we may.
Oh, see.
I think we may have lost the Dexter, but we will plow forward here with.
All right, let's go.
An accountability session. Here, I'll pop this. Actually, I'll let Declan, if he can still hear us, pop this up on the screen. Here's how this works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs on the show. And if you want to be a guest listener participant like Moses is about to, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. We'll get you scheduled. So our statistical database goes back to 2018. The predictions go back to like 2015. So we've got almost 10 years of Write That Down history here on the OG edition on Mackey and Judd. But let's start with Judd. A couple things came off the board for you.
Yep.
You said Carlos Correa would finish top 5 in AL MVP voting. I think we can go ahead and take that one off.
Not playing for 2 months is going to hurt him?
Yeah, I mean, probably not going to make top 5.
This is a BS move by you. Executive decision, my ass.
I mean, if he comes back and hits like 15 home runs in the last 2 weeks of the season,
He's
and the
taking
Twins win the division.
BP off some like 10-year-old kid now. So I mean, I've got hope.
What about ALCS MVP? What about World Series MVP?
I didn't say that, unfortunately. That could be a possibility, but I didn't say that.
You said the Amazon Prime broadcast booth for NFL games will be different in 2024.
I did not think Al Michaels would come back. I thought he'd finally just step aside.
Yeah, it's Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and then Kaylee Hartung is still doing.
And Kirk's dog.
And Kirk's dog, Ben.
Who's getting like harassed now on Twitter. People are down on Ben.
Well, he's like an emotional support dog for Kirk.
Well, and how dare you get down on a dog?
Agreed.
Are people down on the dog or the idea that he brings his dog everywhere? What's the criticism?
I think the dog showed up on the first college football telecast or the second one, and it was being sort of mocked that the dog's on TV. It's like, this is awesome. You know what? Mock people all you want. Leave dogs and pets
Leave the dog alone.
I mean,
we should normalize bringing dogs into broadcast booths. You know, the game gets a little out of hand, and we can just start. Who's our god?
I'm full-fledged now, dog guy. So I'm all for that.
Bad week for me too. I said in his next start, Zebby Matthews would bounce back and go at least 5 innings, which he did, and allow 2 earned runs or fewer, which he did not. I said Sam Darnold would account for at least 3 touchdowns for the Vikings in week 1 against the Giants. Only 2. Took their foot off the gas. Listener Josh said, and this was like a year ago almost, he said by the end of the 2024 season, Justin Fields will start a game for someone that's not the Bears.
Very nice.
The Steelers. He's going to start again in week 2, Mike Tomlin announced.
Yep.
And then a couple things came off. 3 things came off for Declan. You said the Twins would acquire another pitcher with at least 100 games played before the end of August.
Yeah, I was hoping for a waiver claim, but can't afford that.
No, we're too poor.
Oh, Can't afford that.
We're too
Literally
poor.
can't.
Can you spare a dime?
Apparently not. You said Chiefs, Niners, and Dolphins, your little 3-team parlay for week 1, would all win their week 1 games. There's a nice little
Bravo.
home run for you.
Bravo, Declan.
And finally, Matt Wallner, who's batted everywhere. You made this in the spring training portion. He's batted everywhere in the lineup except the place you predicted. Matt Wallner finally batted second in the Twins lineup.
It's a home run, double. The 2-hole experience with Matt Wallner has been unleashed.
It feels like they should have done that earlier.
Yeah, they should have.
Declan said in spring training. Clearly, he does too.
Come on, Popper.
Talk to Rocco.
I'm in that clubhouse.
Yeah, just talk to him.
You should just because
Rocco.
you could just maybe print off your own lineup. You should do that, dude. You're in the
And
clubhouse.
post it.
You
post it
you
on
should
the board.
forge a lineup and post it. Yeah, rip down the one that they have. Post your own.
Rocco
And
did
see
tell
it-
me he liked the mustache, so maybe he's warming up to my ideas.
Yeah, I think you could get away with it. So here's the season stats: 393 for me, Declan 369, listeners 366, Judd 319. Listeners now have 10 home runs. Declan and I each have 8. Judd has 7. So it's really anyone's game here. The season runs Super Bowl to Super Bowl, so plenty of time left. All-time career stats: Declan with a 361 average leads everyone. Judd with 337 career hits. And listeners lead with 65 career home runs. So those are the stats, the accountabilities. Let's get Moses in here, making his debut on Write That Down. Welcome in, sir. When did you become a Vikings? Are you a Minnesota sports fan or just a Vikings devotee?
Yeah, mostly a Vikings devotee, but when Kirby Puckett was playing, I was, huge into the Twins because he was amazing.
I love the background. Are those like Vikings dolls or little stuffed things behind you?
Yeah, little Funkos, like little
Yeah,
bobbleheads,
Funkos.
kind of like the ones you have behind you.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
awesome.
a Justin Jefferson one that's signed that I bought on eBay that at some point I'd love to get like an Aaron Jones once we get to, training camp and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good look. Very cool.
Love it, man. Well, let's get started here with
Write this down.
the predictions, sir. You are first out of the gate. Let's rock.
All right. First prediction. And I think this would probably be a touchdown or a home run, depending on which version of Write That Down that you're watching. Write that down. The Vikings are going to make the playoffs.
Oh, let's go.
Okay.
Judd, where's that flag?
The flag was off today. Hold on a second.
No, the flag doesn't
is
take
never
days
off.
off.
You got to work.
Is that flag's last name Cousins? There's no off days during football season.
So the flag got so popular that he basically started to make demands. And I told him, I said, flag, I can't afford that. We don't have that much. And he's like, well, then I'm going to take Wednesdays off as well.
Wow, no, especially Wednesdays
Or
because
go on strike. He's
fans
unionized
make
now.
optimistic predictions.
He unionized the SOB. What was I supposed to do?
Is this why the Judd Zolgad Substack is now charging because the flag is demanding some
Exactly
extra
right.
cash here?
That's exactly right. We flipped it on last night. We're like, we can
Oh,
no
we
longer
did. We-
compensate the flag. So
Wow.
we are going to have to. JuddZolgad.substack.com is now trying to charge. We'll see how
Who
it
are
goes.
the other flags in the flag union that was formed here?
Oh, we got
The flag association.
state flag across the street that some guy flies. We've got, of course, the American flag. It's really become a
The
problem.
American flag is
The
part of the
American flag
that's,
joined it.
Whoa.
Well, the Vikings flag's very important. The Packers flag tried, but we're like, you're not going to be in.
Is it like one of those? Which American flag is it? The Perkins one? That's like the size of a Walmart parking lot. I feel like every time I
no.
drive by a Perkins, the flag gets bigger. Every year, it's like
Perkins
it's
are
just-
going away.
They are.
Are they
It's
going
si-
away or are they rebranding or maybe a little of both?
The one on 394 that might technically be in Golden Valley. That's still there, but like a lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Man, the one
Love
in the
Perkins.
one off 55 in Buffalo when I was in high school, we used to go
Yep.
pound chicken tender melts and whatever else.
Late night.
And we would all we played poker for like quarters. And so we would all have like lunch boxes full of quarters and we'd get done eating and then we would like play poker and there'd be quarters and stuff all over the Perkins table. And sometimes if it was busy, they'd have to come over and be like, okay, you guys finished eating 2 hours ago. You can't just like sit here and play poker in our restaurant.
But lots of times it's not, and it's great. I love the late night patty melt run.
Write this down.
11:30 p.m. Worst thing possibly before bed, and you're like, yeah, give me that patty melt.
Stay up till 3 a.m. digesting. Yeah.
Those were the days. All right. Write this down. Carlos Correa and or Byron Buxton. So Carlos Correa and or, so it could be both, it could be one, will either aggravate their injury while rehabbing or within their first week back with the Twins. So they will lose. So they will be shut down again because the batting practice thing, Correa's foot started to hurt again.
So they have to be activated for this to hit, right?
Well,
rehabbing.
If they're so they're not activated technically. Like if they go to play a game with the Saints,
okay,
that would count as well. But then if they just come back and it's like Correa's back at shortstop, and then it's like, Carlos Correa left the game with a foot issue, that would count too. But first,
so at any point, if they come back and step foot on a minor league or major league field, and then go, then the clock starts.
But I only have 1 week if they come back and play with the Twins, so it's not in perpetuity.
Okay, I think we're clear.
Write
I
this
set
down.
myself a cutoff date.
The Dexter.
All right, write this down. A similar prediction to Judd, but in a different tone and a different light. Write this down.
So negative.
Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa will be in the starting lineup together in one of the 4 games against the Cleveland Guardians next week.
Oh.
So we could both win on this one.
Yeah, that's true too. We could both win.
So they're both starting. We're excited. And then
Correa comes out in the 6th inning with a foot injury, and then you
mad
both win.
dash to first base, like bang bang play, and Correa keeps going right down.
Yeah,
the line turns around and walks back to the clubhouse.
I actually think Buck's gonna play in Cleveland. Correa, I'm not so sure. He literally hasn't played in 2 months. But Buck, I'm pretty sure of is gonna play in Cleveland. We'll see on Carlos.
And he'll swing once or twice and then walk off the field.
Write this down.
Because
I still have a write that down prediction that Carlos Correa will steal his first base in 6 years. What are the odds on that right now? Of Carlos Correa stealing a base before the season's over?
The same as him being American League MVP, in other words, or even getting votes for it. In other words, you can take that off as well.
I'm going to leave it on, though, until the end.
Of course you are, for your predictions.
Because there could be something where maybe it's a double steal and he's the back leg and they don't care about him, or it's like late in the game and it could be indifference, but the scorekeeper gives him a stolen base. We'll see what happens.
All right. Okay.
Keep it on the board. All right.
Cool.
Write this down.
Write this down. I'm going to give you a 3-game parlay here against the spread. I'm looking at underdogs this weekend in the National Football League. The Titans are an underdog, so I'm gonna say Titans cover the 3.5 against the Jets. Buccaneers cover the 7 at the Lions, and Vikings cover the 6.5 against the Niners. So I'm looking for feisty underdogs, Titans, Bucks, and Vikings to cover. Write it down.
Write this down.
Back over to Moses.
All right. For my next one, I'm going to go similar to what I was talking earlier about my good friend. Well, hopefully at some point, Mr. Aaron Jones. I think he's going to go on a revenge tour, kind of like the old, saying of the different revenge tours of different teams and, players from those teams. So in the Green Bay game, he's going to do a parlay. So write this down. He's going to have Yak over 4. He's going to score a touchdown, and he's going to have over 100 yards.
Okay. Yards after catch is that what you're looking for Yak or average yards per attempt?
Contact. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yards after contact.
Yards after contact.
Yes.
And what is it? At least what?
4. At least 4.
Okay.
Yards after contact.
And
okay.
Is this just for the first game against the Packers?
This is just the first one. Yeah. Just for the first
game.
one. Yep.
In a couple of weeks at Lambeau. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Write this down.
Love the revenge angle. Judley.
All right, I'm gonna stay in the National Football League. Low hanging fruit, I know, but I can use some hits. Daniel Jones will be benched by the Giants by the end of September. So
that'd be a quick one
by the Giants by the end. I don't think they can afford to watch this gong show.
Or but if you're them and you kind of know what's happening at this point, don't you just lean into football natural causes? Or do you want to get a look at is Drew Lock, right? Drew Lock's their backup.
I think you stand at here's the problem. I think you stand a chance of being fired if you do that. Like, it's such a monumental mistake.
So if it's such a train wreck,
yes.
That's the tough spot that they're in, because at this point they're better off just leaning into football natural causes. But if you're Dable and you're like, dude, I'd like to be around when we turn the corner, and let's get a quarterback that I choose in here. Yeah.
Like they literally got hoodwinked by Ed Donatel.
I know.
As the Vikings did as well, but
I saw a stat. He's thrown more pick sixes than passing touchdowns since signing his extension.
Yep. That's pretty impressive. That's really impressive, actually.
Write this down.
Way to go.
Yeah. Okay, the Dexter.
All right,
Prediction
write
number
this
2.
down. Twins have 4 games left on this homestand. They got 1 more against the Angels, 3 against the Reds. So they will win 3 of these 4 games. They'll win 3 of these 4 games. They'll finish this homestand on a good note against these lowly teams. They'll win 3 of their final 4 games in this homestand. Write it down.
Write this down.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go with this one. Write this down. So I attended the entire Gophers Rhode Island game. Beautiful weather, 66 degrees, not a cloud in sight. I mean, we were literally there 48-0 as the band was playing at the end of the game and the handshakes and stuff, just enjoying a nice fall day. But I'm still skeptical, Judd, even though they won 48-0 over Rhode Island.
PJ crowd surfed his players. What are you talking about?
He crowd surfed. Very exciting. So it looks like the Gophers are 16.5-point favorites over Nevada. And Nevada's already played 3 games. This is their 4th game already.
1 and 2. And they're an FBS team. Mountain West.
Yep, they are. Yeah, they're an actual
They're a real team.
Yeah, kind of. Well, so here's my prediction. The Gophers will either not cover the 16.5, or they will trail in the second half. I'll say. So they'll either not cover the 16.5 and or they will trail at some point in the second half. Write it down. The moral of this is it's going to be a grind at home against Nevada on Saturday for the Gophers.
Wow.
Write this down.
Unfortunately, you might be right.
Yep. Okay, Moses, your 3rd and final prediction.
All right, for the 3rd and final prediction, I don't know if this is true, but I heard this on one of the Minnesota-based, sports shows that San Francisco hasn't won in Minnesota since '92. You guys know if that's true?
I saw that. Yeah,
92 or
I saw that
4 or
stat
something.
yesterday.
Yeah,
that's a weird, obscure stat. I thought
it is.
You know, it's funny. Even more obscure. This photo that's behind me here. It's a panoramic of when that streak started for the Vikings. This was, I'm 90% sure, this was a primetime game, I think a Monday night game in like 1994 against, did Steve Young start that game? The Niners were really good, but the Vikings beat the Niners, I think, to start that streak in Minnesota that's gone 30 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, that is where I'm going to go. I'm going to do another slight little parlay here. So I'm going to use that stat, and I'm going to take the undefeated in London stat on top of that. And I'm going to say we win San Francisco and at London against the Jets.
Wow.
Write that down.
Yeah. I mean, the short week for San Francisco, we've been kind of talking about this. And then the way Aaron Rodgers looks right now, we saw how Brett Favre looked at age 40. And Aaron Rodgers, at least right away, mobility and stuff, it's going to be challenging.
Write this down.
Why do we think, I mean, playing quarterback in an advanced age is difficult already. Why is there assumption that 2 guys who are old coming off Achilles can just come back and play?
Dude, people not to get on a high horse here, but so many Vikings fans thought it was a devastating mistake to not give $50 million a year or whatever it was to a 36-year-old coming off a torn Achilles.
Right.
Again, Judd, just because Tom Brady found a way by spending 20 hours a day in a hyperbaric chamber and eating kale for every meal. Like, just because one guy did it doesn't mean that the rest of football sample size and history doesn't weigh something. So
and he didn't tear his Achilles though. Like you are better off if your ACL tears.
For sure.
Like the Achilles is how you plant. Like people aren't normal humans like me aren't the same after an Achilles tear. So why do we just assume that these guys are going to come back? I mean, Rodgers looked like he can't move too. They both look like they can't move. That's no accident.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Write this down.
So, well, awesome stuff here. Great predictions from Moses. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this peak moment, sir?
Yeah, I grew up in the Sioux City, Iowa area, and you don't have a major sports team like Minneapolis does and some of the other big cities. So I kind of found my way to the Vikings, and during that time, I went overseas in the military. A lot of my friends, bonded over sports in general, especially football. Like I got a best friend who's a Cleveland Browns fan. So, him and I bond immediately because of our ineptitude of our fan bases as far as championships go. So, I think that's kind of the one thing across all genders, cultures, societies, sports, and just the fandom is something that throughout the military and everything that's kind of stuck with me. That's one of the things that I'd like to thank, everyone that I've encountered and been with, and especially the Vikings, at least one, and before I die, at least one.
Amen, dude. Amen.
Cheers to that.
Well said. Cheers to that. Good luck with your predictions, and we'll see you again sometime.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
See ya.
All right, there he is. Moses making his predictions. I'll write that down here. Before we make our final three predictions, a reminder that the Score North shop is open for business. Get your 2024 Before I Die gear. Get your Victory Monday gear. And even I think we have some Sports Dad stuff in there. We definitely have I Work Tuesdays shirts, crew necks, and hoodies. All sorts of fun stuff. ScoreNorth.com/shop. ScoreNorth.com/shop.
Got a question for you guys. So I came across my notebooks from training camp, Judd's camp notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that we could auction them off for like charity or a contribution somewhere? Because I'm probably not going to keep them. And I've got it's all my notes.
Save them.
Oh, I save everything. I'm a pack
You're
rat.
a hoarder.
But yes. Unfortunately,
You should save them for next year's Courage Kenny auction, because we could definitely include those in some sort of. That'd be fun.
Because
You
I've
could
got like
sign
two of
them.
them. Oh, I most definitely would. I'm just saying, I was about to toss them, and then I'm like, no. I think we could do something with these. That'd be fun.
Don't toss them. Yeah, definitely hang on to them. Let's we'll find a use. We could put together like a purple daily package. You could maybe it's like you get to sit down with Sports Dad and review each one of those notebooks page by page.
Sports Dad could read his own notes a month after the fact. I'd be happy to do that, but he can't.
Sports Dad will read these notes while you try to fall asleep.
I write wrong, so my notes are terrible. I hold my pen like this.
What's wrong with that?
I've never held it correctly.
Oh.
Because you're supposed to hold it like, I think this.
I don't know if there's like technically a right or wrong.
I was told in
way to-
grade school I held my pen wrong, and I should improve
This
that.
is coming from a guy who also can't really read or spell. But yeah, I don't think there's I don't know if there's like a right
Your
or wrong way
spelling's
to do
actually
that.
not terrible. You've done a good job of late. I've seen very few headline busts.
Oh, like on the podcast headlines?
Yeah, they're ordinarily fine.
The thumbs? Yeah.
I'm not going to throw.
Well, that's because like when you type a word in wrong, usually in YouTube or Megaphone, like the red
it does tell
squiggly
you.
lines will show
Also,
you, and then
there's a great thing called Grammarly, which I pay for. So that also.
Oh, look
helps
at
a lot.
you.
So
Oh, I like
Grammarly will
it.
help. But in
Write
terms
this
of text
down.
message and emails, that's a different game. Nope, that's all.
No,
all bets
I-
are off there. Yep,
just
all bets are off.
complete gibberish every time. So, Judd, what's your third and final prediction here?
Write it down. You like
All right,
writing things down?
plug your nose for this one. Write this down. The rally sausage will not disappear for the rest of however long the Twins play. So it's come and gone. It came back last night, but then it had been gone. I think there was some. I think Rocco legitimately thought it was disgusting.
Yeah.
but it's also something that galvanizes a team that needs it. And as stupid as that seems, I think in pro sports, partially because it's played by men who are boys, I think it becomes important. So I think the rally sausage for however long the Twins play remains a part of home run celebrations.
Okay, and we won't get the rally sausage update from Declan until the Score North Twin show. So I'm kind of in the dark on what. But let's say it's back.
I think it's back for good. Yeah.
How do we determine? Like, let's say, okay, it's back right now, but let's say they just like keep losing.
Well, it becomes a story. Like every time it disappeared, it's a story.
How do we know that it disappeared?
Yeah, that's.
What if they just like don't play well in their last 4 games, and like, what if they get shut out their last 4 games?
Yeah, I think.
I guess then it would have disappeared. I guess.
Well, yeah, and I think if they hit home runs and stop tossing it out, it's disappeared again.
So that's what it is.
Like
if we get to a point where, okay, if they fall out of the race in 2 weeks somehow mathematically, and someone hits a big 3-run homer that's really not that big of a 3-run homer, and they don't use the sausage, then it will have disappeared, and then
Correct.
Okay.
Write this down.
But again, stay tuned to the Score North Twin Show for your full rally sausage update from Declan Goff, Twins beat podcaster.
Write this down.
Write this down. I'm going to make a WWE prediction, actually. So we are on... He made an announcement, I don't know, this a few months ago, John Cena, that he's on his retirement tour. This John Cena retirement tour, he's finally going to hang him up. I like John Cena. I've liked John Cena more as he's aged, definitely. I mean, I know the jorts. I know Mackey loves the jorts with John. And there's always the Rock comparison, which I just think is completely unfair. But at the end of the day, he is one of the best.
Because the Rock's an actual successful actor.
Is that it? All the great successful
doesn't like
movies The Rock has done?
No, he has. The Rock has had a bajillion successful movies. John Cena has not.
Money, but I mean, I wouldn't say he's had like amazing acting. He's had a lot of flops too.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. We're going to argue about The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock is one of the biggest. We can debate like whether The Rock, Arnold, and Sylvester Stallone make actual like Oscar-worthy movies, which they largely don't. But like The Rock is one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Is that debatable?
I don't know. He's one of the top earners, but I think he makes more bad movies than good movies.
Wow. Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's not.
So if that's like the
Arnold Schwarzenegger made a lot of bad movies too.
But if that's like the distinction between John Cena and The Rock, like, and I'm more talking about.
The distinction between John Cena and The Rock is John Cena tried to leave WWE to become an actor and kind of failed, and The Rock wildly succeeded financially in box office.
And The Rock.
I just want to clarify that. One guy's wearing jorts, losing his hair, and can't get a box office draw. The other one is the people's champion who has been wildly successful as an actor.
And the guy that comes back and has to have promo written on his arms because he can't remember how to cut a promo. But yeah, absolutely, we can continue to have this debate. Wow. Although The Rock, the final boss Rock was badass. I love the final boss Rock.
He's great.
So write this down. I think, and I was watching a TikTok kind of about this. Write it down. John Cena and Randy Orton will square off in some type of match again before Cena's retirement. Both those two guys were hand in hand, basically carrying WWE in the mid-2000s into the 2010s. And I think we'll get one more John Cena, Randy Orton match. So at some point we'll get, whether it's just a regular match, I don't know, cage match, any type of match, we'll get some type of Cena versus Orton match one more time before Cena's retirement tour ends, which I believe is for WrestleMania.
He is saying it does not end at WrestleMania, that it goes through 2025.
Okay.
That's what John Cena's saying.
Okay.
Yep. So, all right, my final prediction.
Write this down.
Write this down. You know what? You guys are so negative about the Twins. I'm going to give you a positive Twins. Positive Phil.
But you were out.
I had
I'm back in.
Twins predictions. So.
Yeah,
that's
Declan
true.
Did have
Declan had, you had that they would
hurt.
come back and play next week, I guess, yeah. Write this down. The Twins will still win a playoff series. The Twins will still win a playoff series despite this tailspin, these injuries. Positive Phil.
Smells bad. Watch the Twins score.
All they have to do is win 2 out of 3 against another flawed team. That's all they have to do. Bailey Ober, Pablo Lopez, bing, bang, boom.
Didn't you start this show by saying that you were out on Twins predictions and were boycotting the club?
I changed my mind. contemplating being out on Twins.
I thought you very much said I'm out on the Twins because I'm like, I'm not.
This
There's a lot.
episode are awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Oh my god. Go John
Let's
Cena.
go. John
Yeah, what do you
Cena.
think, Judd? John Cena, Rock?
I'm more with
Ridiculous,
Phil. Rock, but The Rock has made some terrible films, but you cannot. His box office attraction is huge. Cena just isn't. He doesn't have the same charisma.
He's kind of a weirdo. Yeah, he's like
The Rock's.
He's a weird
The Rock's
guy. He's no
charisma
doubt a
is
weird guy.
off the charts.
Not denying that one bit.
Yeah.
Although he does a great job with those Honda commercial voiceovers.
Yep. Honda.
Oh, is that
He's
what
like
he's
the
doing?
voice of Honda TV commercials. Yeah.
But that pays nice money.
Blockers was great. Did you guys ever see Blockers? One where like all the parents are trying to prevent their kids on prom night from doing it.
Oh, I saw the
John
I-
Cena movie?
Oh, you
Yeah.
know what? I did see the
Lisa
trailer.
Mann's in it too.
Yeah.
Lisa Mann?
Leslie Mann.
Who?
Oh, Leslie Mann.
Leslie
Yeah,
Mann.
Judd
That's
Apatow's
Lisa Mann,
wife.
sorry. Judd Apatow's
Okay.
wife.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
She's awesome. She is pretty funny. Must have missed that John Cena box office hit, though.
I saw the trailer on TV a couple times.
good.
Was it really?
Good movie.
Didn't look like it was good. Definitely. Didn't look like it was good at all.
Funny film.
Not gonna lie. I saw Cena in the LeBron film with Amy Schumer.
He was
Yeah.
he was good in that.
Yeah,
I don't-
because it was
yeah,
just
I
a
don't
bit
like the
role,
movie.
just a small role.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
good in
he was
that.
pretty good in that.
Well, he's fine in a bit role. I'm just saying, The Rock can carry a film. John
Yeah,
Cena can't.
the Tooth Fairy, Baywatch, Pacifier.
Dude,
Yeah.
All
it's,
great movies. Yeah.
Phil is not wrong. It's
Game
Arnold.
Plan.
He is
Okay,
the
Sylvester
2000s
Stallone,
Arnold.
90% of Sylvester Stallone's movies are panned critically, like bad.
they
But
make
he
fun of
is one of the biggest movie stars of the last 50 years.
If you pan Rambo, here's my question to you: what type of American are you?
You're not one, really.
John Rambo.
You're
I
a
mean, my God, he
communist.
never talked, and I was scared of him.
Yeah, I feel like they maybe stripped out some lines. They're like, why don't you give us a seventh take on this one? You know what? Let's just squirt a little more water on his abs, and we'll just.
Why don't you look madder than you looked in the last scene, and we'll just take that. It's good.
So there's your Write That Down Wednesday here, the only show in America with the stones enough to put statistics next
Write this down.
to our predictions. We'll see you guys for a little reckless speculation Thursday on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd tomorrow.